Welcome back, StarCraft 2 fans, to the Alienware Arena. We're about to go into the last series here. It's going to be Clarity Gaming's Shew versus NubWafflerz. Nathaniel, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready for NubWafflerz.
All right, into Entombed Valley we go.
You are watching the Alienware Arena.
Welcome back, guys. It's the last series, and I keep saying it because it hurts me a little bit, Nathaniel, to have to say it. This has been my first cast in a couple months, and I've had a blast, man. Thanks for casting with me.
Yeah, this has been pretty cool. I really don't get really that many of these opportunities, so this was definitely interesting. We had a lot of interesting games, some not so, not as great as the others, but we had some pretty sick games earlier. And this last series is looking to be a good one.
I hope so. And yeah, earlier I really liked the series between Purple People Eater. That's a tongue twister of a name there, and Roarin. I don't know why, but that name, it does it for me, man. I want to marry a girl who has that name. Just like that's just going to be my nickname for her, even if that's not her name, and that's what's going to go down. But with that being said, guys, let's do our intro. Spawning in the bottom left, we've got our red Protoss from Clarity Gaming. It is Shew.
All right, and I know Shew's pretty solid player. I don't really know much about this guy, but he's got his work cut out for him for sure. He is the purple Protoss in the top right. He is NubWafflerz.
I'm kind of hungry now, too. We've been casting for a few hours now. Now the last guy we get to cast has waffle in his name. Not helping things out, bud.
I could actually really go for some waffles. Get like some maple syrup and maybe a little bacon and sausage on the side. Oh my god! All right, well, hopefully these guys are hungry for a win because
I'm hungry for some food and I want them to win so I can get that food. But now we do have Cybernetics Core here going down quite a bit quicker for Shew. So it looks like I think he went for a 12 gate here in this game, whereas NubWafflerz went for the more standard 13 gate. And we see Shew here saving up just a little bit of chrono boost here on this Nexus. We might see a really quick warp gate here coming from Shew.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of indicative of 4 gate. He just has so much energy, not really trying to hide it at all, and really low energy comparatively for Shew. So he's probably going to go. I can imagine to play the more defensive style, maybe open with a robotics facility. I mean, you never really be that sure, but we'll have to see. Zealot out and additional gateways being made by Wafflerz. And Shew's probe. Wait, Shew's probe actually has a kill. Shew's probe has 2 kills. The scouting probe is. In the workers kill tab, Shew has killed 2 probes with his scouting probe. He is now ahead in supply.
That's pretty funny. But I think it's actually Shew here who's going to go for that warp gate attack, because he's the one who went for the 12 gate, got that earlier cybernetics score. He doesn't have quite as much chrono boost as his opponent, and he of course did manage to scout how much chrono boost his opponent had. But here we go. There, the gateways are going down. He's got 3 of them total. He's got the resources for a 4th, though he won't start it.
Is he gonna go for it? Well, he has his super probe is in the top left position, just kind of chilling, sending out the Stalker and Zealot to scout.
Yeah, man, this probe has a cape. Super probe. 2 kills. 2 kills.
Two kills in the first couple of minutes. That's sick.
That's so annoying too when you're playing and your opponent is just like constantly harassing you with his worker, and it's just like, oh, just leave me alone.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
We do have 2 extra gateways now going down for NubWafflerz, so he's going to go up to 4 gates total. And meanwhile, Shew did go for a Nexus. He's actually going to expand here with 3 gateways quite quickly. Meanwhile, he is pressuring or even faking a pressure, as he does have a pylon going down, starting to warp in here a couple of Stalkers as well as he moves his way across the map.
I actually really like this play. It's kind of like, okay, well, now I've expanded, and now I'm going to start pushing at you. And honestly, NubWafflerz's additional 2 gates were way later than they needed to be. They didn't line up with Warp Gate at all. I mean, I guess he wanted to hide them from the Ninja Probe, but now looked like he wanted to make a 5th gateway, changed his mind, but now the big Stalker push is coming. He's got 1 sentry, Shu putting a pylon on the low ground, and I believe these Stalkers should be able to force a cancel, but with the 4th gateway's finishing, he should be able to maybe hold this.
This is what one would call a bop. Tasteless and Artosis have mentioned this term before. It's when you're pressuring across the map, not actually intending to really do any damage, but end up killing your opponent. And Shu here is doing a lot of damage. All the probes getting pulled off the line for NubWafflerz. More and more units getting warped in. And Zealot are getting a lot of kills. We see 13, 14 probes have been killed already. And looking at that unit counting station, it's 5 to 5 Stalkers. Now, those extra warp-ins for NubWafflerz will have Shu fall back, but the damage has been done. 27 probes to 16. The Nexus is up for Shu now. He's got a robotics facility.
Yeah, it's like he held the push, but at what cost? He's losing, continuing to lose Stalkers. He's lost so many probes. The additional expansion, I don't know how NubWafflerz is gonna hang on here. What's your plan in this situation?
Well, I mean, like, Shu, that was such a cool build that he devised because he has 5 Stalkers and a Zealot pressuring his opponent. So it looks exactly like what you'd see coming from a 4-gate, except that it's a 3-gate expand. So he's just pushing out across the map saying, hey, look, I'm putting down pylons, I've got 5 Stalkers and a Zealot, I'm 4-gating you, so get defensive. And then he's just not going to push up the ramp, pull back, and have his expansion. But NubWafflerz didn't get the force field down exactly where he needed to. The sentry ends up dying, and Shu kind of just looked and said, I have more units than you do, so I might as well, do as much damage as I can. And NubWafflerz here, 34 supply to 52. He's down a base. Shu miles ahead right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, NubWafflerz staying in this game, like he really doesn't want to lose. And it's only game 1, but he is significantly behind. I don't really see, he's almost, well, Shu's basically double his supply right now. I don't see any way for Shu to really, unless NubWafflerz, I'm really not sure what the best way to go. I think Immortals is a smart choice for Shu, and then move into Colossus and just get up that regular PvP big Colossus force, because NubWafflerz, sure, he has a lot of Stalkers to move out with now, but the proxy pylon's still in place. Shu's still there. Shu at the tower, we'll see this, can do counter pressure. And Shu can also just, well, he's got an Immortal and he's got a Sentry. He's got 2 Immortals now. So these Stalkers aren't going to be able to do anything. And really, it's all up to NubWafflerz. He's the one who needs to make a play right now. Shu just being super patient, just waiting. His observer scouted his opponent's base. He sees, okay, there's no Dark Shrine, there's no robotics facility even, so he doesn't have to worry about anything. And even his observer spots the Stalkers going back home for NubWafflerz. So Shu here just way in the lead. I'm like literally just trying to figure out ways that NubWafflerz could try to get back into this game, but yeah,
I just don't see it.
It's not looking good for NubWafflerz. He's got 4 gateways, robotics facility, and he's on 1 base. It's a pretty difficult position to be in, and it looks like Shu's just gonna start stretching himself across this map.
Yeah, I even get some good hits there on the Stalker retreating from that Xel'Naga watchtower. There is a sentry with about 3 force fields in it for NubWafflerz, so that's actually something annoying that Shu's going to try to deal with, because he doesn't have any tier 3 units to crush force fields. So he's got to be a little bit careful here about how he engages, but he does have pylons going up, and he does
I like that pylon on the left of the main. That is a inky pylon right there. That is interesting.
It was sadly spotted, though, by NubWafflerz, and now Shu going to try some other pylons or rather, he's going to try with the Warp Prism instead.
And now the Supply Block of Doom.
Supply Block of Doom. Of course, on NubWafflerz, he's at 51 out of 42 right now, building
he's gonna
3 pylons.
So he wants to go up the ramp.
Yeah, he's got his observer there spotting, and so even if he does get force fielded, he can still get quite a few of his units in range.
Snag that. Would have been interesting to see him snag the Immortal.
So the Warp Prism is now starting to make its way over from the left-hand side. We see an observer on the way here for NubWafflerz.
Pure Stalker versus what Shu has is pretty much it's pretty.
Yeah, there's not much of a chance here for NubWafflerz, I don't think. Shu just going with the contain. Because if NubWafflerz tries to push down this ramp, then he's going to have part of his force fielded up the ramp. And of course, Shu already has a nice concave set up. So even force field notwithstanding, it's a bad idea to attack down that ramp. And meanwhile, back at home, Shu, he's got double robotics facilities getting the Colossus, a third base on the way, and he's just forcing his opponent here to choke himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just NubWafflerz sitting here waiting for the mercy kill almost at this point.
Pretty much. So NubWafflerz 66 supply to the 129 of Shu, basically doubling his opponent's supply here, continuing to expand. A Stalker there doing a little bit of poke action, but Shu, of course, most of his units here on hold position. Oh, no, there they go, getting baited a little bit forward. NubWafflerz just having some fun. The observer here of NubWafflerz is getting spotted as well. And I mean, I'd like to see maybe a Warp Prism come out of NubWafflerz. You know, if he's going to stay in the game, then he might as well be trying something. And he could try a couple of different things, whether it's send the Warp Prism out and try to do some counterattack, or even just use the Warp Prism to elevate a bunch of units down to the low ground so he can engage on a more or less similar, I guess, plane or concave. But now the Colossus are here, Nathanius, and it looks like Shu is going to make a move.
Yeah, at this point, what can NubWafflerz really do? The Colossus outrange everything. I mean, is thermal lance complete? Yes, it is. So he's just, what do you do? Force the engagement with the Colossus. He has to attack into him, or he's just gonna slowly poke him to death.
Well, a little bit of a misstep there. Shu does lose a Colossus to the Immortals there of NubWafflerz, but there are more and more Colossus getting rallied out across the map. And again, Shu's on 3 bases versus the 1 quickly mining out base of NubWafflerz. So even losing that Colossus, not a big deal. Shu here just going to wait for more Colossus to come forward. And again, like we've been saying, just let NubWafflerz here kind of choke himself and force himself into a bad position. And here we go. NubWafflerz trying to push down that ramp. Will the Sentry throw down a force field? It looks like Shu doesn't even need it, but he will throw it down, catching the 2 Immortals. The Zealots, of course, getting the nice surround. And that is going to be about that here. Nathanius, Shu should be able to push forward to victory.
There is... Yeah, I mean, with the Immortals now, and he has 3 Colossus, there's absolutely no way I see Shu losing this battle.
The really coup de grace there from Shu is the fact that that he sent in his War Prism just as NubWafflerz tried to push down the ramp. He immediately sends in the War Prism, warps and Zealots right in that main mineral line and killed off all the probes. Now everything else is dying at the front, and GG from NubWafflerz.
And that was, honestly, that was so brutal. NubWafflerz went for the 4-gate, got the 3rd and 4th gateways late. And Shu was just like, no, I'm just going to fast expand and go 3 gateways and beat your 4-gate. So, I mean, it was really just a bit of a beatdown.
Yep, a good old bop. Boppity bop boppity-doo. But we are going to go into game 2 here in just a few seconds. Guys, of course, it is a best of 3, so it's not over for NubWafflerz. And, I mean, Shu, he's a really solid player. He's on my team on Clarity, and we actually make fun of him every season because he never makes it into Grandmasters somehow. Like, every season, he's rank 1 Masters player, but just doesn't make it into Grandmasters for whatever reason. You'll have to ask Blizzard about the MMR stuff. But a really solid player here and showing it there in game 1. So, without further ado, we've got game 2 all loaded up, and let's get to it. Here we go into Ohana.
You are watching the Alienware Arena.
So here we are on Ohana, a map I think that a lot of Protosses are just comfortable on in general, whether it's Protoss versus Protoss, Protoss versus Zerg, or Protoss versus Terran. Now, spawning here in the top left, he's down a game. Can he tie up the series? It's our purple Protoss, NubWafflerz.
And our player in the bottom right went for the expand into a little bit of harass and accidentally ended up killing his opponent. He's the red Protoss, Shu.
Shu, a player on, again, my team, Clarity Gaming, and he's got a fun name too, because I don't know why, but Shu is the player on our team that we give a lot of nicknames to. He's known as Johnny Shunami. He's also goes by Shubaloo. I don't know why there aren't any more coming to my mind right now, but there's 4 or 5 of them that are just constantly going around. So we've had the best names here today at the Alienware Arena, Nathanius, and it's been a lot of fun here. So another Protoss versus Protoss
it's been
here.
Pretty awesome, and we're not seeing anything really crazy.
No craziness. And Ohana's actually a map that you can see some pretty craziness. I guess we're not seeing any crazy aggressiveness, but NubWafflerz there went for a really late gateway. That was like a 14.5 gateway there instead of a 13 gate, so that's a little bit interesting to note, because Shu just went for a standard opener there. But as I was saying before, I noticed the late gateway from NubWafflerz, you could actually do some really cute 2-gate proxy play where you put the pylon down like just outside, or like outside of the natural or beneath the main. It's tough to, I guess, kind of explain, but near the peninsula. And then with the pylon on the low ground, you can actually then build the gateways on the high ground, have them powered that way. And actually, that prompts a question. And Nathanius, have you been playing Heart of the Swarm at all, the beta? Because I haven't. And I was just wondering.
Yeah, I have been. I really like HOTS.
Okay, so I know they were talking about having pylons not give high ground power. Is that still being implemented? I think
Yeah,
you're
that's
lagging
100%
behind.
still in the yeah.
I think you're lagging behind here quite a bit, or maybe I am. Maybe the producer can help us out there a bit.
I think maybe this sky body. I think.
Yeah, hopefully that'll resolve itself there. But you'll just have to foresee the question I'm going to ask you and then start answering it before you hear me finish asking it. That's how we're going to have to do this, Nathanius. But we do have a second gateway here on the way for NubWafflerz. And back at home, Shu has 2 extra gateways going up. That was so lagged behind. But we do have a lot of Chrono Boost going down here for Shu. He's got 3 gateways. He's actually going for a very similar opening to last time. Will he commit more to the 3-gate aggression, or once again just go for that expansion? We'll have to wait and see, but the pressure here is starting, and he does have 2 probes, 1 pylon going down at that peninsula location and another near the ramp.
Yeah, with these outlets coming up here, I mean, NubWafflerz is going to spot it, but this is looking to be a pretty strong push coming out of Shu.
Yep, and he does manage to kill off 1 zealot. He pulls back his other zealot with just 12 HP, keeping it alive. The pylon on the low ground.
High ground pylon. Oh man, now Shu's got total vision. Ollie's just waiting for this warp gate to finish, and this is gonna get ugly. The units are coming in, and there is really nothing here from NubWafflerz to answer this.
No, this time around, Shu committed a little bit more towards this aggression, didn't build that Nexus, saw that he could take his opponent down, and really it comes down to NubWafflerz building a 14 gateway. And that just makes his warp gate that much slower, and unfortunately, Shu there easily able to exploit it.
Yeah, it was really weird. I mean, I guess it must have been a mistake, but it cost him the game, and there's way too much in here for NubWafflerz to push out of his base now.
Yeah, there's the GG. The probes here are going down left, right, and center. Clarity Gaming Shu gonna win this series 2-0 quite handedly there. A pretty one-sided series, but then again, like I said, Shu really solid player. That's gonna close up our series here so far today. Nathanius, it's been a blast, man.
It's been pretty cool. I was a good, decent variety of games. We didn't have any ZVZ or PVZ, but of the TVZs, there were some interesting plays. Everything from the mass Mutalisks to the 1-base Marauder Hellions. So it's been interesting.
So quick recap: we did have Purple People Eater 2-1ing Raurin in a nice ZVT there. Then a second ZVT, Beater Belly versus Chaos Spree, and Beater Belly able to actually come back 2 games in a row to take that series. Then we had This Is Jimmy versus Icefire. This is Jimmy showing us a new, I guess, Zerg versus Terran, or Terran versus Zerg 1-1-1 style. They're going for the Banshee, Siege Tank, Marine, Aggression, and having it be very effective there, winning 2-0 against Icefire. In our fourth series, we of course had Breath versus Epion, our first Protoss of the day, and Breath was able to win 2-1 in that situation, and then Shew closing it out 2-0 against NubWafflerz. So that's it for today's broadcast, guys. Thanks a lot for watching the Alienware Arena. Nathanius, got anything to say, man?
No.
Any shout-outs, I should say?
I don't know. Just it's been a pleasure casting with you, Katu. This has been pretty cool to cast this. Thanks everybody that watched, and thanks to Alienware for putting on